Gio, you're like a freaking Renaissance man. Like you like do this over here, you do this, you got this skill, you did this experience, you did like Gio, who are you, man?
I'm a man of many talents, you know. It's funny because growing up, I would always like do one thing and stop, and then I would get, you know, I would wrestle and play guitar, and I skateboarded, you know, and all these different things. And at first it was like, you're not really great at anything, but when you do that, you know, for the course of 15 or 20 years, then you're pretty good at a lot of things, you know. So I've got a few talents that I bring out when the time is right.
Yeah, Joel and I have seen it. We're grateful to call you a great friend.
And another guest today that I met at Chili Coffee Club. I remember our first conversation.
That's amazing. What was it?
In the Now Studio. I just remember like us connecting, and what was the conversation about? It had to be about human transcendence.
You know what it was? I do remember that. That was at Eventi Studios. Yeah, and I remember we were talking about all sorts of like human optimization. Yes. You know, I think we probably talked about biohacking at some point. That was a really good conversation.
Absolutely.
And I remember using explicitly from that event as like, wow, like this guy gets it, man. Yeah.
Same. I was like, whoa, it's not always easy to find the right types of conversations you want to, which is why we built Linxy. Like, how can you like merge that? And I remember like seeing your social links be like human optimization, human performance. Like, who are you? Like, you're into the same things I'm into?
Yeah.
And right away, like within 15 minutes, I'm like, I want to hang out with this guy.
Right. Well, that's what's cool about Linxy and like what you guys are doing. Like, you're bridging the gap between those awkward conversations, and you know, you're relying on the happenstance that you happen to find someone that aligns with your values. And if you don't find that in the first 2 minutes, you're probably walking away. And so that's amazing, you know, the connectivity that comes with that. And when you find someone that's able to align on, you know, spiritual conversation and how that applies to business and life and biology and energy and frequency and, you know, all that stuff, I think like that's the connected to goodness mentality that kind of keeps the light going. And obviously we live in a dark world right now, so what you guys are doing it's incredible, man.
I love that line of yours. I've heard it multiple times, and I've always like been very attached to it. Connected to goodness.
Yeah.
That's certainly a signature saying of yours.
I can't take credit for it though. I think it's a David Meltzer thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's got a book called Connected to Goodness, and I really stuck to that concept.
And we just saw David Meltzer at Aspire together.
We did.
Yeah, we had a great conversation with him actually.
Love that guy.
Yeah. And another thing that just aligns together is what you said was the light, and being the light in a dark world. And I think that's what each of us have on our own unique journeys, is trying to be the light and the most brilliant, bright light that we can.
Yeah.
Tell us about like how you're trying to maximize your light, because I think, you know, you're doing a great job, and I've heard so many people just have like raving reviews about you. So clearly when you walk into a room, you're a high vibration, you are the light. So talk to us a little bit more about like what kind of light you're trying to be in the world.
It's an awesome question, man. I think it's so central to like who I want to be and the type of intentionality that I live life at. You know, I look at life as a frequency, you know, and there's a lot of negative emotions like fear and hate and, you know, greed and all these things that keep you in this kind of shame guilt cycle or keep you dependent on external substance, you know, but we really are just like energy beings. And when you start to operate in that higher frequency, in the positive spectrum, you start to see synchronicities happening and, you know, invitations to come speak in podcasts, and it seems to just happen all at once, you know, and I think that's because you're attracting it. And so I try and really operate in those emotions of authenticity, you know, and accountability and discipline in my life. I see that when I don't do that, and internally I know I could be doing something better that my consciousness is calling me towards, and I don't do that, it dims my light, and it dims it, and it dims it. And I think at that middle point, from going from negative to positive, is courage. And courage is the turning point that allows you to start to kind of snowball and cascade through that compound effect, and allows you to start to attract those opportunities in life. And so, you know, you share that with someone, and then they share it with someone, and that's the gospel, right? You're sharing that positivity. And so,
and people want to be around great energy. You know, there's, I think in our world now, I was talking to some high-level executive the other day in AI, and it's like, here's how the world is shifting really quick, and people are going to be going through tough times. And you know, running your own business is tough, and I go through tough times, so I got to keep my energy up. And I know when I don't have good energy, nobody wants to be around me, especially Leo. He's like, get away from me, just leave me alone.
It's true.
But people, I think, are really looking for that energy, and they can find it in people. And you're one of those people that you're just so light. You're on your toes. You bring energy into rooms. When Gio walks in, it's like, Gio's here. And I love what you said about courage there, and I love what you said about, you know, trying to access it with purpose. And so tell me a little about what your purpose-driven mission is right now, and like what are you focused on in your life, and where are you going? I know you're about to own your first home.
Yeah, I am. I'm under contract. We close on the 8th. My realtor, Nick Cabanas, has been phenomenal. Motivation Mortgage, you know, Tyler Bullock and those guys have made the process so easy. And the home is actually on Wonderland Drive.
No way.
And it's a little oasis, and there's blueberry trees or bushes and pear trees, and there's a chicken coop. And it's this new kind of phase in my life where I'm 31 now, I'm about to be 32, and I'm kind of starting to really think intentionally about the future. And with the changing kind of financial system that we're seeing and the global events and how everything is really developing, I think it's so important to just, as a man or the leader in the household, to prepare for that, right? If you plan on having kids, if you plan on getting married, like now's the time to really understand kind of the levers behind society and how it works, because it's all changing and there's a gold rush happening right now. We have a chance to actually tap into that, understand the rules to the game. You know, that it's all about interest. It's all about credit. You're either paying interest or you're collecting interest. And that was the concept of why I wanted to buy a home. You know, it's kind of a flat market. The number one search term on Google right now from Power Ranking is can't sell home. Wow. Right? So there's a bit of an economic bubble happening. Private credit is like really bad. And so, you know, the US dollar could crash, right? And so how do you leverage that? How do you position? How do you take advantage of it? Hard assets, right? Fixed debt, if inflation happens, is great because it's going to chip away at that, right? And so, you know, that's kind of the era I'm in right now, man. I'm not going to be out here as much, but I'll be, you know, you'll catch me in my backyard, you know, mowing, working on the flowers.
I'm coming over for some fresh farm eggs.
Yes, please do, man. Seriously.
And I think to pet your chickens.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I want in.
Dude, I'll have a housewarming party and just like bring a chicken.
Perfect.
But I mean, it's a beautiful message, and it goes back to your earlier point. When you have the courage to face the realities of the world and how things are moving, then you can tap into higher vibration emotions, versus like if you don't have that courage and you don't tap into that kind of middle state and unlock your higher vibration emotions, then you're going to fall to fear.
Yeah.
And that is ultimately when you fall victim to, and whether it's your own victim or you're actually victim to something that happens because you didn't have the courage to go for it and to stand up or to pursue purpose or something meaningful.
You're so right, man. And like, I'm not sitting here pretending I'm perfect. Like, beginning of the year, I had a 3-month period where I was just on a really low frequency and I couldn't get out of it. And it became a fear-driven thing where it was like, oh crap, like what's going on right now? You know, and then through courage, right? Through discipline and through just saying it. One day you wake up and then the sun's shining and then it's like go time, you know, and it's like it's like your wheels have been like trying to go and then it hits the pavement and then you're just ready to take off, you know, and so it's all about timing, it's all about sequencing and like just trust that intuition, that the consciousness that God gave you. Listen to that little voice, right? Don't let it fade, because when you don't listen to it once, it'll come back, but it'll come softer. And if you don't listen to it that time, it'll come back a third time even softer. By the 4th time, it's gone. You know, and then you're chasing all these things that aren't even meant for you. You're chasing, you know, materialism and consumerism, and then you get it, and then you're like, this doesn't even fulfill me. It wasn't even meant for you because you're pretending to be somebody, you know, and trying to attract that version of you. That's not who you are, right? Find out who you are first.
And people are focused on the destination compared to the journey.
Right.
And the power of developing that courage along the way.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe that 3-month period was designed to teach you how to handle adversity and how to transmute that, right, alchemy, into something beautiful, right, something strong. energy's neither created nor destroyed, right? So how do you work with that? You know, like the statue of David, like Michelangelo, how do you work with that and then form it to something that will help others and inspire them to be their best versions too?
Well, tell us about, you're an energy guy. You like Charlotte, I think.
Love it.
How long you been here?
I was raised here, man.
Born and raised.
I was born in Mexico, but
Born in Mexico, raised in Charlotte.
Tapatio, baby. Yeah.
And so you've seen Charlotte change. You've been all parts of Charlotte. Tell us about some of your favorite businesses, venues, communities, experiences. Like when you think of Charlotte, what are the things that stand out to you, whether it's your local, restaurant or bar that you love so much, or certain experiences around the city? What highlights captured you the most since living here?
Yeah, so I grew up here, moved away around 2012, went to school, lived in DC for a little bit, and came back in 21. So after COVID. So before I left, Epicenter was still a thing.
Yeah.
And when I came back, Uptown was gone. But South End had grown into itself and created an identity for itself. I live in Plaza Midwood right now, and I really love these buckets of town where there's just so much culture, and you can tell that there's a history there, and there's Central Coffee where I'm at. I like to go there and get my dirty chai, right? And kind of, 2nd Street, I'll go there and thrift some clothes, and I'll go out to Farmers Market, Charlotte Regional Farmers Market, and get some fresh eggs or, some meats and some flour, whatever that is. I'm really excited about the growth that we're seeing, with the stadium expansion at Bank of America, literally right in front of us, and then obviously the Charlotte Hornets are just like absolutely destroying the NBA. We've really starting to find our identity as a city, and we've lacked that for some time.
And it's because of all these different buckets, like you said, these different pockets of Charlotte have their own unique story and energy and character. But so it's kind of been a little disjointed. I think I felt that having lived in Charlotte for 10 years, and now it is kind of unifying in a certain capacity, and it's because of people like you and people like us trying to build a unified community and bring people together for what we are alike, rather than trying to divide and separate us for what is different about us.
Right. There's a saying I like, just to that specific point, like at the bottom, where the bottom dwellers are, there's competition. At the top, it's collaboration, right? Don't get me wrong, business is a dog eat dog, it's a shark infested territory, but when it really comes down to it, the people that are achieving the most in life are having good partnerships, and they have trust, there's respect, there's communication, and they're building. They're not tearing down, and I see that here in the community. Charlotte is a mid-sized market, but it's the 15th largest city in the country and growing, right? We got a lot of great things happening, a lot of big projects are coming into town. I mean, we're gonna start to see film and TV and the art and theater world and just culture, right? The vibrancy that comes with that. So it's a business-friendly state and city, and I think as we continue to develop the infrastructure here, the more that people are gonna wanna move here and bring their good ideas, right? Every time you travel, you go to Miami or Dallas or Chicago, Louisiana, wherever you go, you see a little concept, you're like, let's bring that to Charlotte. Like my buddy Kurt Sowers opened up 88's. Awesome jazz cafe, and they have live music Wednesday through Sunday.
Love that.
And it's just like incredible cocktails and good music, and Retro Bar just opened up where SIP used to be, and all these cool concepts are popping up. So invest in the local community, buy local, support local brands, and then start a business. Do that for the city, right? Whatever that looks like.
And we have a lot of sports teams around here, and we got opening night here tonight with the Charlotte Knights.
Let's go.
Which sport do you align with most? We got football, the other football.
Yeah.
Baseball, basketball. If there's one team we can't lose in this city, what team do we need the most? What sport do we need the most here in Charlotte?
If you asked me this before the Carolina Panthers last season, I would have probably said Charlotte FC, and before the Hornets.
I love that answer.
And I love Charlotte FC. I played soccer, but I grew up a die-hard Carolina Panthers fan.
Wow. And you're back.
And they're back. And I stopped watching for years because I just it would affect my week too much if they won or lost, But I was watching with Delhomme and Stephen Davis, and Thomas Davis and all those guys. And now that we got some energy back with Bryce Young and he's staying, we're building a team around him. I'm really excited what they're going to do next year. And I haven't always been a big basketball guy, but those Hornets are fun to watch. LaMelo Ball with those 1 foot 3-pointers is crazy.
Yeah, they got like 3 of the top 5 3-point shooters made since the beginning of the year, something like that.
Yeah.
3 of them guys.
And that new trade we just got to, I mean, we're cooking. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make a playoff run and make a shot for the NBA championship.
Come on, let the boys cook.
Let the boys cook, baby.
Hot, and people like Gio make it a little bit hotter. So,
Thank you.
Gio, thanks for coming on today, my man. Always a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine, bro. Love you guys.
Love you too.
We out.
Boom.